existed. So once again, Paulson has the white pieces. Morphy's got black. All right, this game took place on November 2nd, 1857. All right, Paulson launches the e4 pawn, right? Pawn to e4, and Morphy answers e5. The knights come out. Okay, and now Paulson brings the other knight out. We haven't even seen this yet. I do not believe we have, right? We haven't seen, we've always seen the bishop come out, you know, either c4, b5. Okay. Paulson plays the knight, and Morphy plays his king bishop to c5. All right. Now, here we got some notes, okay? Paulson just plays the bishop to b5, okay? But we got some notes here. Probably not so good as knight takes pawn. All right, Paulson's bishop to b5, not as good as knight takes pawn, as played by Paulson himself in a match game with Anderson in 1870. Anderson replied, bishop takes pawn check, king takes bishop, and knight takes knight. And after pawn to d4, white secured an advantage. Okay, there you go. You got black on the run now. The knight's got to reposition, right? And white's got the central pawn duo there, the e4, d4, not bad. An open f file. He'll bring out his king bishop, swing the rook over, and then get the king tucked in the corner. He'll move it to g1. It's like he's castling by hand, you know. So he's a little inconvenienced. The time, folks, the time. White's got a castle by hand, but they still give the edge to white. He's got a good center. He's got the pawn, the bishop pair. All right, so totally different game, you know. Now here's the other thing. Now, let's see. It says here in the second part of the notes, a more recent example is Fletcher versus Marshall, Monte Carlo, 1903, right? A more recent example, huh? 1903. Well, you know, you got to remember, this book was written long ago, folks. But we're still, you know, you can't disregard it. You got to always study what came before, you know, your forefathers. Come on. You got to get with the program, right? You got to understand the modern moves of chess. You'll understand it better if you know where it all came from. You know what I mean? And you'll pick up little details that have been forgotten. Believe me. Lots of tactics and attacks and combinations. Oh, it's all worth mining the gold, baby, out of this old ancient tomb. Morphy's Games of Chess. Okay, anyway, let's get, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah, a more recent example in Fletcher, Marshall, Monte Carlo, 1903. With a continuation, all right, let's pull it back to what we're talking about. With a continuation, with after bishop c5, knight takes pawn, right? Okay, instead, Marshall brings out the knight, okay, and then Fletcher develops the bishop to e2. All right, we chop off the knight. Look at this. What, white giving us a free piece? Well, not really, folks. Look, you got the pawn fork. You got the pawn fork. You ever see that one? You're winning. You're going to win your piece back. All right, so the bishop moves back. Black wants to retain the bishop. Frank Marshall brought the bishop back. All right, and get this. Fletcher didn't even take the knight yet. Holy smokes, what's going on? So Marshall brings his knight to c6 and get a load of this. Another pawn fork. Another pawn. We got pawn forks all over the place. All right, but look, you know, I mean, basically, looks to me like, you know, black's going to win a pawn. You know, white's getting a piece back, you see. He's definitely getting a piece back, but as in this game, look, I think white wins a pawn here. I mean, black wins a pawn here. I could be wrong. Let's just pull up the engine. I'm curious. Let's see what it says here. Where it is. Analyze game, baby. Chess Genius. Good program. I recommend it highly. All right, here we go. All right, so they're saying, I don't know. Look, minus 0.62. Folks, anything under a 1 pawn, you know, when you got these evaluations, let me use this pawn to point it out. See over here? Minus 0.62, right? It's saying that white's down a little. All right, not even a pawn. 1.00 would equal down a pawn. And even then, folks, if it doesn't even matter if you maybe you have more development. You know, you got pieces on good squares. You got a better minor piece. I mean, you know, under one, if you're losing by less than a pawn, it still doesn't really make a difference. When it starts going over 1, 2, 3, forget it. Then you're losing. All right. So don't take these. You know, don't be so strict. You know what I'm saying? I saw kids at some tournaments. They were, oh my God, I'm down. I'm losing. Look, I'm losing by 0.68 of a pawn. I'm losing. Don't worry about it. Okay. Don't get nervous. All right. So anyway, I mean, I don't know. The engine here, what's it saying? Knight B5. I mean, okay, we push D5, baby. We get the D5 pawn push in. We're getting on queen bishop out, right? I mean, we got an open E file. We got to get our king to safety. I mean, even if white moves to rook, we still got to move, right? Like if he goes here, right, we still got to move. Yeah, we get out of dodge. That makes sense. You castle, right? Just to see what's going on here. All right. And we bring the bishop back. I mean, you know, if he wants to chop him off, all right. If it would a move like this, okay, fine. He's going to get the bishop here. All right, look, we move it back. Okay. He could go for it. He could go for it. But, I mean, you're up a pawn right now. You know, you're up a pawn. It's a game. You know, we could wrap ourselves up in this one, get into it, right? But I don't know. I say black is better after that recommendation. You know, that game, I'm curious how it went. Frank Marshall against Carl Sletcher. Sletcher playing Lasker in a great match back in the day. Emmanuel Lasker, second official world champion. Okay, Carl Sletcher held his own. He did great against him. I think, you know, he didn't win. I don't know if it was drawn or Lasker pulled it out. The great Emmanuel Lasker pulled it out at the end. But still, kudos to Carl Sletcher. Great player back in the day. And let's not forget Frank Marshall. Frank Marshall, the other American after Morphy, right? Carrying the torch, baby. Tactician extraordinaire. Okay, anyway, a little background there. Okay, so let's get back in the game. What are we talking about? What's going on? Oh, yeah. Okay. So Morphy, ignoring the E-pawn, right? Who cares? Bring the bishop out, all right? That's the move, okay. So anyway, how does Paulson? Paulson doesn't grab the pawn, okay? Like we said, he brings the bishop to B5. All right, fair enough. Here we go. Morphy, D6. All right. You got that bishop out. You know, the king bishop's on C5. All right. It's okay to lock it up now. The bishop's outside the pawn chain. You see that? Just to point out, look. If you play D6 now, your king bishop's locked behind the pawn chain. But with Morphy playing him here, he gets the bishop out. All right, there you go. Big deal. Now you just played D6. You're getting ready for that queen bishop to come out on the light squares. And you got this guy, here's Paulson with D4. You got this guy outside the pawn chain. He's ready to fight out in the field, you know. All right, so anyway, all right, D4 by Paulson. All right, naturally, Morphy chops it off. All right, okay, here comes Paulson attacking, taking the pawn back, and he centralized knight, baby. The piling up on the knight, the pin knight on C6. All right, for instance, here we go. Let's say a dumb move like this, totally oblivious to what could happen. Knight takes knight, pawn takes, bishop takes, check, block. All right, you lose the exchange. See that? Black's down and out. Forget about it. All right, queen takes back. All right, big deal. All right, we got a little, we got the bishop here, but folks, we lost the exchange, right? I mean, you know, let's should we even do this? I mean, this might be kind of silly. I mean, you got, you know, black's attacking. Let's see this. Actually, okay, here's the beginner. The quick thought is protect my e-pawn, right? Protect my e-pawn because it's hanging, right? But it's not, folks. It's not. If you do this now, look at how powerful this guy becomes, right? You don't want to do that. So let's castle, right? Oh, you hung your e-pawn, right? No, you didn't. Because after this, did you see it, folks? Forget about it. See? Sometimes it's deceiving, right? Looks are deceiving. Don't fall for these traps. Don't make the positional mistake of defending the e-pawn. Now you give this guy all the power in the world. right? Down this diagonal. You can't, folks, you can't castle just to throw in a move. You can't castle over here now because of this guy, right? All right. I mean, you know, he'll have to maneuver. I guess he could, you know, he's tied up a little. He'll bring the queen. What did I do? Whose move is it? You know, all right, again, just throwing this. So maybe he'll have to challenge that bishop over there. You know, you challenge him. You trade him off, you know. But either way, you got to be careful sometimes. You grab the exchange. You're up the exchange. You're winning. And you just got to be alert, all right? Got to be careful because you don't want to, you know, you got the edge now. You're in the driver's seat. Look, white's winning 2. This is an evaluation right here. See this, folks? Look, 2.20. Now that's something worth talking about. All right, you're up a little over 2 pawns. All right, that could be a win in the bag. You could have it in the bag. You got to play careful. Look at the engine. Look, they're actually recommending F3, huh? They're recommending F3. All right. All right, it's a whole other game. We could go into it, right? Okay. All right, let's go. Let's go back. You know, that's the threat. What we're talking about after knight takes by Paulson. Threatening to win the exchange. See that? Boom. Okay. We go from there, right? Morphy plays the move. Simple enough, right? Develop the piece. Get rid of that threat. Come on, get out of here, Paulson, with these little tricks. All right, Paulson takes anyway. Gets rid of the knights. All right. Morphy takes back with the pawn. Hits the bishop. All right. Paulson's got to take another move to reposition it, save his bishop. He decides to bring it back to A4. Right? Keep pressure on that C6 pawn. All right. Morphy swinging the queen out with a... He's trying to cheapo, folks. I mean, you know, he's developing the piece, but they give him a question mark. Here it is. I mean, he's looking. He's trying to do this little cheapo, you know? Checkmate. Hey, he got him. Right? I mean, come on. Paulson, you know, Paulson's master strength, folks. You know, come on. You know, I don't know. What was Morphy? I guess he just wanted to get the queen out. Maybe he's just having some fun. I don't know. It says here, had Morphy been older, such a move at this stage against a strong opponent might have been called presumptuous. Though through this and the 14th move, Paulson is able to get matters all his own way in one game at least. All right, Paulson bests Morphy here. All right, here's what happens. All right, let's go through. Let's see what happens. All right, Paulson. Oh, no, what am I going to do? All right, he castles, all right. No problem there. All right, Morphy developing the piece. Knight to F6, bring the soldiers out. All right, now, again, you're looking at the E-pawn, right? Is it hanging, folks? Is it really hanging? Let's just do something silly. Look, is it hanging? I don't know. Let's see what happens. Look, oh, I want a piece. I want a pawn, right? Again, folks, here we are. Right? It's worth showing again for the beginners, right? Let your opponent stumble into those traps, right? Let him stumble into them. All right, but Paulson, he develops his queen. Oh, no A3. Let me take that back. Just showing you the silliness if you were to capture on E4, right? But Paulson, I don't know. He brings his queen out already. He develops the queen. He's still developing. Maybe he's going to bring the bishop to E3, you know, back up that bishop with the queen on F3. I don't know. We'll see what happens, right? So anyway, he brings the queen out. Okay, defending E4 in a way. All right, so here we go. Look at this. Morphy, another cheapo. Look at this. Gee, why did he move the knight over there? Look, another mate. Come on, you got to wake up. Dummy up. All right, knight to G5. Okay, G4. Okay, here we go. Paulson, again, developing those pieces, kids. Very instructive. Get the piece out if you can. Look, you see, he stops the mate. The bishop defends from F4. All right. Do we have to say more? All right, here we go. Knight to E5, hitting the queen. Come on, look at this. Get out of here, queen. All right, simple enough. Right? He moves him over. He moves him to G3. Come on, I'm up. Come on, I'm doing great here, right? Paulson's figuring I'm doing great. Let's trade queens. Come on, let's do it, right? I mean, at this point, let's see here. It's pretty. This is what was recommended. You know, was recommended. But Morphy, here we go. We got a note, right? We got the notes. Here it is. It says right here, Morphy moves the queen back. He doesn't want to trade, right? He pulls it back to f6. Here it says, Morphy's objection to early exchanges of queens is noted elsewhere. But such a move was better here, all right? They're saying Morphy's known to want to hold on to his queen because he was a tactician. He was great with combinations and attacks, right? And he always seemed to get his opponents twisted up, and he wanted to hold his queen to have. He wanted to hold on to his queen to have as much power on the board as he can, because he usually won with that attack, So it's noted that he does it efficiently in other games, but here, best move on the board was to trade queens. Okay, he should have traded. Here we go. Look at Paulson. Again, remember, pulling your queen back, you're retreating, right? You're retreating and you're losing the tempo. Okay, so now look at Paulson now. Positioning the queen rook on D1 with an exclamation point, huh? How about that? Why an exclamation point? Because that's all they give. They don't give any notes. All right, let me show you why. What's a natural move? You figure, let me go, oh boy, he's developing rooks on open files. Let me get my king to safety, right? You swing it over here. Big boo-boo, right? Here you go. You chop off the knight. Okay, if you take like Morphy wants to hang on the queens, you take with the pawn, the rook on the D file, down, taking the bishop out of the game. Goodbye, bishop, into the box, right? And the game basically is over. Okay, you're down a piece. All right, so say, all right, wait a minute now. Let me take with the queen, so the D pawn remains on D6. All right, but again, folks, you trade queens, now the D pawn's got to take back. And again, bam, wham, thank you, ma'am. You got the D7 bishop, right, in the box. Game over. Okay. So anyway, there you go. So you can't do it, folks. You can't do it. All right. So natural move, castles, right? You see how you could blunder into it, right? You go right into what looks like a natural move. Okay, Morphy. Oh, come on. He's got the eye, folks. He's got the eye, the tactician. Come on. He sees it a mile away. He plays H6 for now. Okay, buying time. Here comes the king. Paulson moves it off this diagonal, who knows, maybe F4, F3. We're going to push, right? Okay, so anyway, Morphy hits the bishop with G5, expanding. Maybe Morphy's thinking of castle and queen side. He's got Paulson guessing, right? All right. They give that a question mark, though. All right. Anyway, look at this. He takes the knight. All right. Well, Morphy doesn't want to trade queens. Okay. He wants to retain that power. Okay. So pawn takes bishop. Now the D file's open. Okay. So here we got, look at this move. Paulson, no slouch when it comes to tactics. Look at this one. Very interesting move, huh? Here, take my B pawn. Here, you look a little hungry there, bishop on C5. Have a pawn. But, Black dare not. Here's the notes, folks. Black dare not capture this pawn. For then, here it is. Let's look at it. For then, right? Rook down the open D file now. This is where you put your rooks on the open files. The tactics fly. All right, rook takes bishop, right? King takes. All right, if bishop takes knight, okay? We got rook takes pawn over here. Okay, now that's all they give. Why is that winning? Because you got two threats. Okay? You got two threats. Let me just throw this dumb pawn move just to show you. Okay, you got the bishop still hanging, right? And you also got the rook protecting C6 now. So this C6 pawn, you're going to see this tactic, right? Bishop takes, now winning the exchange, right? Winning the exchange. Okay? So, forking the king and the rook over here. Now I'm just guessing, right? If he comes over here, okay, you get the check in. This just leads to a discovery now. I mean, forget about it. Look, you lose the queen, right? You lose the queen for the rook, big deal. Okay? Plus, after that, you take your bishop. Oh, forget it. Come on, man. This is all right, wait a minute. He wants to pin him, right? He wants to pin him. What do we have going on? Look at this. Look at this one. You rip it open. This is Morphy, a la Morphy, right? I mean, this didn't happen in the game, but this is what you pick up after a while. I mean, look, if you take, you can't take with this guy, he's pinned. Take with this guy, you let the rook right in. Okay, again, he's still pinned. See how quick falls apart, right? All right, so the king moves. I don't know. You know, the king moves. Does it even matter, folks? You're opening up the F file for the rook. All right, big deal. Maybe I'll even just give him the bishop over there. I'll get my queen down and attack and get me. Forget it. Look at the evaluation, minus 22 pawns, huh? Who do you think's winning that one? You think black could hold it? You see that, folks? Let me show you. Maybe you don't know what I'm talking about. Think I'm making it up here? Come on, what's going on? Look at this point, minus 20, right? Who moves? It's black's move? Look over here, folks. Oh, now it's mate and 6. All right, mate and 6. Let's say this, right? You bring the rook, the best move there. Now, look, let me see. I'll forget it. Mate and 9. Look, mate and 9. All right, we're getting off the beaten path, right? Where are we going here? We're going into the weeds, right? All right, so anyway, that's a little fun here. We had a little fun. All right, just to show you, okay? So after that, those are the two threats. Bishop takes, you know. If king over this way, we showed the check. What if he goes here? What happens if he goes this way? All right, we take our bishop, right? We don't need to grab this guy in the corner, right? I mean, come on, it's all over. We got a discovery going. I mean, you know, the game's over. The game's he's totally busted. What is it? What's the evaluation after this? Oh, look, mate and 5. I mean, come on. All right, mate and 5, huh? Let's show that one. Let's see. They're saying this. Okay. Oh, look at this. Queen to A5. Devastating, huh? Devastating. No way to protect C7, folks. No way to protect C7, huh? I mean, if he comes in this way, right? If he protects it this way, which I guess that's why rook here makes sense now. You back up the queen here. Look, what do you got, folks? You got mate over there, right? Mate over there. One pattern, another. It doesn't matter. It's all over. Look at this. Unbelievable. All right. Let's pull it back. We're getting into the weeds, right? So there's the two threats, right? You got, after this, you got the two threats. Taken here or taken there, right? White wins. Okay? So they just showed this part. They just showed up to there, right? They left it at that. White's winning, okay? But I went a little deeper to show you. Okay, so that doesn't work for black, trying to take the knight, okay? So when he takes, let's get into the nitty-gritty of it, the obvious, right? When the king takes, look at this pawn on C6. It's pinned, folks. Knight fork. Forking the queen on F6 and the bishop on B4. All right. He moves the queen to defend the bishop, okay? But here we go. Look at this. They throw in this little check over here with a queen, all right? And they give king over here. Look, if the king goes there, right? We take, he takes, we fork, right? There it is again. Bishop fork, check, okay? All over, okay? If he comes up, okay? Yeah, we give up the exchange, right? We'd win the exchange, okay? We get a load of this. We got the check, okay? He would come up here, F6. All right, we win the exchange, right? So if he takes here, we're winning, right? And then get a load of this. We just go right there. We check. We win the rook outright, too, now. Now we're up a whole rook, right? We're up a whole rook. All right, but here we go. I'll show you a little in-between move black has. This is why I'm saying you got to always be alert of everything, right? You take here, right? Now, he doesn't take back. That's what we looked at. He moves this guy here, this queen to C4, threatening mate. Threatening queen takes rook mate, right? Okay, but look, we get out of it simply by checking on C6 with our queen. Right now we're forking his queen in the checking the king. He's forced to trade, right? And then we pull the bishop back by recapturing. Look at that. Now we're up the bishop all the same, but we're up anyway, right? There we go. We get out of it. We're winning that one. Easy street. We're on easy street. Come on, wake up. All right, so there you go. There you go. So, all right, what else happens here, right? That's if he moves here. But this is what the old masters give. They give the queen move here, right? King to d8 instead, right? All right, so now we take the bishop, right? And the queen takes. And now when we take here, it's not check. But you see the devastating move, folks. It's still, look, he's threatening mate on d7. Let's see if he saves the rook, right? Mate, d7. All right. So anyway, look, and there's no tricks here with in between moves. Queen trying to threaten mate, taking the rook, but we'll beat him to the punch, right? It's still mate. All right, that's the obvious for beginners. Okay, we have to show the obvious, right? All right. So anyway, that's it. It just gives it right there. It's over. It's all over for black. Again, if he goes here, right, trying to defend, this, okay, it's all the same, folks. You get the check in. He comes up. Okay, if he goes back, now he doesn't even get to take back, right? He doesn't even get to take back with the rook. So what are we talking about? All right, so the king comes up, right? All right, we grab that guy over there, baby. And then what does he do? Again, he tries this little one, right? It transposed, folks. The whole thing transposed. All right, it's all the same story, right? We're up the bishop, forget it. Easy street again. We're on easy street again, right? Look familiar? All right, so there you go. That's that combination. Beautiful stuff, right? All right, so we'll go all the way back. We're all the way back to that pawn. That little gift that kept giving, right? He's trying to offer him a gift. B4, right? All right, it's better to receive, right, than to give. Anyway, whatever this means. He doesn't take. Morphy doesn't take, He doesn't take. All right, look, come on. Morphy's master strength tactician, come on. He brings the bishop back. He doesn't fall for that, come on. All right, bishop to b6. All right, so here we go. Rook up. Rook to d3. All right, here comes Morphy advancing the pawns, right, on the king side. All right, Paulson, doubling the rooks on the d file. Take this note. Good philosophy, good idea. You double them rooks on the open file. Paulson building his position. All right, Morphy with another pawn move over here on this side of the board now. All right, I guess he's buying time. I don't really get it. But anyway, here comes the knight. Knight to e2. All right, rook. The rook. All right, he's got to guard that bishop over there on d7. Okay, he's trying to guard the bishop. So the other bishop could move, right? All right, because you get a low look. You got to understand, if this bishop wants to grab pawns now and stuff, I mean, it's all like before. I mean, here we go, right? You just lose the piece outright. You just lose no other tricks. It's all you need, This bishop on d6 is pinned, okay? You get it? It's pinned. You lose the d7 bishop. That's the strength of those rooks doubled on the d file. See that? All right. All right, so Morphy, right? He guards that guy. All right. Now you're going to see this is right here. It says Jay Lowenthal suggests this expansion. Hit that queen, right? Queen's running out of room, but I mean either way, he moves here, right? Look at the engine. All right, queen to e3, right? Pretty much. That's about it. There's really nothing here, but that's what Jay Lowenthal recommends. Okay, h4. Maybe expanding some more with h5. I don't know. Maybe you push up here, trying to rip open the h file. Obviously, I would guess, yeah, the engine says to lock it up. Don't let Morphy get that open h file, rip it open, You don't want to lead that to something, get the attack going with an open h file. The queen's ready to swing over to the h file. You know what I mean? The bishop's already aiming over there on the light squares. The bishop on d7. You don't give your opponent what he wants. So anyway, I mean, maybe that's what Jay Lowenthal saw. Something like that. All right. So anyway, h4 wasn't played. Okay. Morphy played the rook. He played right. That was the rook move. Move 19. Rook to d8, protecting the d7 bishop. All right. So anyway, let's turn this engine off. All right. I don't want to get confused here. Confuse you guys. Confuse me. All right. For now. All right. Here we go. So now here comes Paulson. Right. He's protecting b4 now. Protected b4. Because right now that it was hanging now. Once the rook comes over, right? Let's just show something silly. I don't know, move the king over here, right? You got this. Now I think it is hanging because you can't. If you take here, we take back, right? There you go. You know, like white just gave away the b pawn now. There's no traps left. This doesn't work because we got the queen on the third rank protecting it. Very crucial to the next, the rest of the game. All that tactic on the open D file with those doubled rooks and the bishop on A4, hitting C6, ready to capture and pin. See, but Morphy's got the queen on this rank. Okay, always watch this. Okay, so the tactic doesn't work right now. So in essence, with Morphy's rook to d8. Now the b pawn is hanging. Get it? All right, Paulson saw it. He protects it. Okay, here's Morphy. Now Morphy expands, pushing the pawn to g4, right? Instead of h4. All right. Anyway, here comes Paulson expanding on the queen side. All right, looking to push c5, batting away that bishop on d6. All right. Let's see what happens. Queen. Okay. Let's see. He moves the queen here, right? All right. Morphy moves the queen to h6. Okay. Here comes the pawn hitting the bishop, right? Morphy ignores it. Now that's why g4. See that? He's smothering the queen. All right. Paulson, no big deal, really. Moves the queen to e3. Okay. All right, so now Morphy's got two things. Now, over here, right, you got the queen, but the bishop's still hanging, right? So what he ends up doing, he doesn't want to trade queens. So what he ends up doing is moving the bishop to e7, right? It says here in the notes, if queen takes queen, pawn takes queen, right? Remember what I said. There's no queen on the third rank now protecting this guy. So he'll lose. If Morphy tries to save this bishop, now the tactic works, folks. Right? Takes, pin. See that? Where's the queen? Where's the queen on the third rank? Defending C6, right? All right. So now you see why Morphy doesn't take. He can't take the queen. He doesn't want to. He wants to keep the power on the board anyway, right? But he can't. Tactically, he can't. So he moves his bishop to e7. All right. So now, here we got Paulson blocking the queen trade himself. He just plays f4, right? All right. Morphy takes. Okay, Morphy takes. And now the queen takes the pawn. All right, the queen takes. And at this point, Morphy, you know, look, you got this guy hanging over here. See that? C7, right? All right, Morphy trades. All right, the knight takes back. And here you got the rook coming up to the third rank. Remember this, folks? All right, I'm not making it up, right? Our hero moves it up. I mean, come on. Get with it, right? Dummy up. Come on, look at it. Makes sense. The rook comes up to h6. He's got to protect this, right? It's still vulnerable. I mean, I don't know what you want to do, right? Just do some measly move, right? You're still threatening. White's threatening this again, okay? Bishop takes, pinning the rook. The rook is dead, right? He's going to take that rook off, all right? And then he's up a piece, all right? So that's why. After this, you come up with the rook, right? If he tries it now, just to show it, you try, oh, you pin my rook over there, big deal. Take him right off with the other one, right? His brother helps him out. You leave my friend on D7 alone. All right, so here we go. That's the logic, right? Here we go. We understand the position so far. I mean, Morphy's got himself in a little knot here. He's trying to hang on. All right. Paulson definitely has the advantage in this game, as you can, probably feel. Okay, look at the bishops of Morphy. They're like just trying to shield. They got no scope. You got the queen side advance. You got the knight, centralized knight. You got the biggest plus in the whole position. Open D file with the rooks doubled on the open file. I mean, okay, here we go. Breaking it down for you. All right, so now after rook H6, you got the knight swinging to E2. Okay, Morphy expanding, right? Trying to clear it up a little bit, get his bishops in the game, maybe. Okay, so he plays F5, hoping for something like this, maybe. I don't know. Let's look at the engine just to check too. I don't want to mislead you. Here we go. If he takes, right? Let's see. Analyze game. All right, the bishop says here he could take, right? Again, folks, this one does it. Where's he coming in from? Come on, get out of here, you. We got the rook, right? We got the rook over there, still sitting, waiting. He's waiting to knock him out if he tries to take there. Now we're hitting this rook, right? All right, we trade rooks, no problemo. Look at this. All right. Now remember, folks, we got the bishop pair, right? We got the bishop pair looking pretty good now. Looking pretty good. Our bishops love the open board. The board's opened up. I mean, all right, so the knight gets a good position here. All right, they're piling up on C6, right? All right, now the computer's saying this. What about, all right, you can't move him here because then you get pinned, right? You get pinned. You just blew it. You look at that, you can't even move this guy to protect because then the knight's covering it, right? Your whole position falls apart. All right. So maybe white still hangs on to an edge because black's reduced to bringing his bishop back to protect there. Those bishops can't get into the game. They can't get into the center of the board, right? Cutting through the open board. They're reduced to defending. The one on D7 anyway now. The light square bishop defending C6. The knight centralized, very strong. All right, here comes a check, right? All right, it says king over. But, folks, you can't, who knows? It's a fight. This would have been great for Morphy, right? I mean, this is what he wants. I guess he's playing to where he can hang on as best he can. Maybe that he could have held the draw there. But, Paulson doesn't take. He pushes forward, right? Still doesn't allow the bishop to get into the game, okay? Doesn't let him get in the game. Makes sense. E5 by Paulson. Showing his master strength. He knows the position, right? He understands it. Okay, but look, here they give instead of F5, it says Moroxy recommends bishop back to C8, right? He claims that was better than F5. I don't really know about that. I mean, look, we got that knight D4 move coming in, putting pressure on C6. And I mean, the engine right now, and bring it back. I mean, I don't know. I like Morphy's attempt. I mean, at least he's trying. Paulson plays it correctly by he plays it by not taking. But I mean, Morphy's trying. He's trying. If he takes, he's giving him the option to make that mistake. But all right, Paulson plays it correctly. All right, here we go. Let's follow through anyway. Here we go. We got not much more to this game, folks. All right. So here comes Morphy attacks the E5 pawn, right? And look at this. Paulson with an exclamation point. Knight to F4, right? Hitting that rook. Doesn't have many options left. And look, if he pulls it back, folks, now the tactics come in, see? The knight's protecting the pawn. The bishop is hit. The bishop has to move. Once he moves, folks, what happens, right? Here he comes. That pest, that little pest on the A4, right? That bishop's been waiting to gobble up C6. There he is. He gets it, right? All right, and then the whole position crumbles. Okay, where's he go? What's he do, right? If he moves, he loses the dark square bishop like this with the trade, right? Takes back, you lose it that way with the trade. Okay? So forget about it. You can't do that. So look at this. Look at the engine trying to hang on. You know, come on. It's all over. All over. You take the piece. I mean, come on. What are we talking about? It's all over now. Look, even he takes with the rook now. Setting up the discovery, right? You got to get out of there. All right, forget about it. It's all over, folks. Look at this. Look at this. He's taking here. The whole thing falls apart, right? All right. So do we need to see more? Come on. That's it. All right. So look, anyway, what ends up happening? Morphy's forced after the knight. That's why they give exclamation point, right? I mean, you got to realize when you have to defend it. Can you imagine if white goes like, oh, don't take my e-pawn? Oh, boy. You see how you got to look at the tactics, folks. You got to look. The beginner would go, oh, no, my e-pawn, let me protect it. No. When you don't have to, if he takes it, his whole position crumbles, right? If he doesn't take it. Here, Morphy's forced to take it, and he falls victim to it anyway, okay? Because what does he do, folks? He's off that rank. He's off this rank. Remember what we talked about? Okay, so he takes. He's forced to take, basically. He falls apart one way or the other, right? Rook takes pawn. Here it is, folks. Here's the shot. Rook takes bishop. Rook takes rook, right? Here comes that pest over there. He finally got his way, huh? Bishop takes on c6. All right. Get a load of this now. Look. Here's Morphy's move. This is when you know Morphy's in trouble, right? I mean, someone of his strength, he knows what's going on, and that's his best move, huh? Just throw the bishop there. You're blocking, right? Else you're going to just lose. Either way, you lose. I mean, you know, Morphy's trying. Okay. Pawn takes bishop. The rook's pinned. Remember, folks, rook's pinned to this guy over here on c6. All right, so now you take with the pawn, right? So anyway, look, here's what Morphy must have been hoping. You got to give the guy credit. He's trying for the trap, right? Look, your rook on d7 is hanging, right? I mean, it's pinned. Your guy is pinned. He could take him now, right? He's pinned, but what if he goes for more? Morphy's setting it up, trying his best for Paulson to blunder, right? He's blocking this way. He takes with the pawn. Now, Paulson could simply take, right? But what if he says, I don't want to trade bishop for rook. Why not really go for it here and take, right? What's he going to do? Look, the rook is hanging. I'm just going to win the rook. It's something like this, right? You lose to checkmate. Can you believe it? Can you imagine if Paulson did this? I mean, come on, right? Paulson didn't fall for this one. Again, the guy's a master. Come on. But, you know, you're trying it. You try, folks. Sometimes they say, oh, you got to respect your opponents. You know, come on. Let's have some fun, right? We're playing a game here. That's what it's all about. Bottom line, you're trying to have some fun. You're trying to be cute, right? Have a few laughs along the way. Let your opponent prove it. You know what I mean? Let him prove it. You're trying your best, right? You're setting up something silly like this. I mean, as long as you got some power on the board, you got a rook, maybe you get that back rank. I mean, it's there. It's waiting to be made. The mistakes are waiting, right? All right. So anyway, Paulson, come on, you know. He knows enough. He knows enough. Here he is. King over. No mate threat left now. There's no back rank mate, right? All right. Morphy trying to get out of the pin. All right. Paulson takes it, chops it off now. All right. There you go. It's all over. It was over. Well, once Paulson took it, that's it. Morphy resigned. You know, he resigned. Now get a load of this. 11 hours, folks. Can you imagine being over the board? 11 hours. I mean, this is tough. I don't know how many breaks. The last game it said there was three sittings and it was 15 hours. This one, 11 hours. Now I read it in the biography earlier that Paulson really liked to utilize his time. You know, he used a lot of time before he made a move. This is in the days before clocks and all, you know. But hey, you know, the guy had talent. and he was searching for the best move. So the man was analyzing as best he can, you know. Maybe he liked to look at lots of sidelines, and I mean, gee, it must have been exhausting. Paulson was no slouch. Let me tell you, he went on with blindfold chess, and he became something else at the time. He was really good at blindfold chess. He built up his technique. Paulson was the real deal too, you know. So anyway, all right, the combatants fought it out. It's no disgrace in any way to lose to Paulson. All right, so there you go. We got Morphy's Games of Chess, huh? Game 13, unlucky 13. He loses. Our hero loses to Paulson. All right, he goes down with one game. He's down one game. Okay, no big deal. We'll pick it up next, folks, in Game 14. Can Morphy regroup? Let's see, all right? The heart of a champion, real champions, folks, undefeated is one thing, right? But a real true champion knows how to get up after being knocked down. You know what I'm saying, folks? Those are the true champions. They got heart. You beat everybody, you know. You beat everybody clean. You never face defeat. You don't know what it's like to get up off the floor. Takes real heart, folks. All right, let's see how Morphy pulls it out, right? Let's see how he gets up after this one. Stay tuned with another episode of Morphy's Games of Chess.